Hi everyone, I'm Joyce in Texas, and today we are going to be helping my friend work in her hall closet and her laundry room. So come along with me and let's see this huge transformation. I'm going to show you a little bit more of the before. This closet has multi-purposes, camping stuff, games, coats, filing cabinet, sewing, and more. All right, we're using this room as a staging area, pulling things out of the closet and putting them on the tables. I plan on doing some voiceover, but for right now, I'm just going to be quiet for a bit and then I'll come to you shortly. Oh, cute. It's voiceover Joyce for you. So you can see that we are going to fill up this room quite quickly. And we have things under the table, things like her suitcases, her quilts. We have some things that we put in the closet like the coats, and a lot of sewing items, games, puzzles, and sewing paraphernalia like a serger, and just so much more. So I'm going to do a voiceover for this because my friend did not want to be on camera, and I am honoring her wishes. Now, at the end of this day, she actually went ahead and took this closet, which is unpainted here, and spent the time painting it, and I'll show you that coming up. But we just start tackling this table first. But I wanted to share a little bit more about my friend. She is a caretaker of a family member. She also cares for her community, including me. She's just got such a wonderful spirit and a giving heart, and is an entrepreneur, and I'm just grateful to be able to call her friend. Now, she has lived in this home for 8 years, and whenever they moved in, there was some bad weather and the home was getting renovated. But what she shared was that when they had to move in somewhat in a rush because of that bad weather, the closet just never got painted and a lot of things got put in there. And it was time to go ahead and try to tackle that, as well as her laundry room. Now, we'll get to her laundry room a little bit later on, but one of the things she shared is that she wanted it to be visually appealing and peaceful. So we have some ideas on what we're going to do in there, and I'm excited for y'all to see the transformation. So with her suitcases that we're going through, it's both her suitcases and her husband's, we decided to go ahead and nestle the smaller suitcases into the bigger suitcases. And then they had some soft-sided duffel bags that we put in there as well. And here I'm just asking her if the plastic can come off of this sleeping bag, and she said yes. I think it's just going to be better to store it without the plastic. She does do camping, and it sounds exciting. I told her I wanted to hear more about it. Now, if you've watched some of my other videos, you know my husband and I think maybe we might be beyond our camping years, but it's still fun to hear how somebody else does it. She's got a dry bag here, and I'm just getting some of the air out and closing it up. And all of this camping stuff is going to go back into the closet on the highest shelf, but we're going to also use some vacuum bags for some of her blankets and some of her extra pillows, and that's going to make some more room in there that we didn't have. So this next task is going through her bags, wallets, and this particular bag I suggest that she use for shoes whenever she is traveling, because she didn't have an idea of what to use it for and hadn't really been using it, so she liked that idea. The belt that I just handed her is going to go to medical, because that is to help a family member when they need to help lift them. That belt does the trick for that. And she does have a couple of purses, I think, that she is selling on one of the selling apps. And we're just trying to match up the straps to the purses and then check inside to see if there's anything in there that she wants to take out before she might let go of some of these. Now, she did thin out a few of them, and we end up putting them in a cute little basket, and I think we've got good solutions for these bags. So she has a clear bag as well that has multiple handles that you're going to see in just a few seconds. And if y'all go to concerts, y'all know that you have to have clear bags now for safety reasons and security reasons. So she is keeping this. I'm just going to put the extra handle inside the tote. And then the other leather bag she's keeping as well. But the bag that's in this blue bag here, she's actually selling on one of the resale platforms. She was able to go ahead and thin some out, and now I'm just trying to figure out if we can put the two bigger bags into a tote so they're not just floating loose and that they're not on top of this colorful bag where she couldn't get to the smaller wallets. And we do come up with a solution, and it's working well, and yeah, that's what we ended up with. So y'all know I like my wrapping paper. Not everybody has as much wrapping paper as I do. And she actually, I think, has a very modest population or inventory of it. And what I start doing is just sorting them by Christmas and non-Christmas bags, and just put the bags within a bag. And the goal was to hang them on a hanger in her guest closet just as a temporary placeholder until we start loading things back into her hall closet. Now, you guys, I have to tell y'all, this is some sewing stuff here, but she is handy because she took the door off of the hall closet, and I saw her work with some crowbars and getting some nails out. And I say, I love a woman who is independent and can use tools. So I just wanted to share that. Now, as we go through the games, again, I think what she has here is a pretty modest inventory of games. But she does have a lot of puzzles, and her husband is really the one who loves doing these puzzles. And so she knew which brands were his favorites. And this sweet little wooden puzzle, somebody actually made for them, that one that's sitting on top. That one, yeah. So that one is sentimental, and I think her sister ended up taking that. But as far as the puzzles go, we talked about how many is an appropriate amount. And so I asked, how often does he do the puzzles? And she said probably one every 3 weeks or so. And so we ended up just talking about, well, maybe it would be good to keep maybe 16 to 20, and he could go through all of those once in a year. And she said he is good about telling her if he didn't want to keep a puzzle, and at that time she'll go ahead and donate them. So she was pretty confident in the ones that he enjoyed and the ones that he didn't. Now, as we were going through these smaller games, she had 2 rook games, so she let one of those go. She had a lot of cards that were the same, and that was for playing the game hand and foot. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever played that game. I think I've done it once, maybe twice, and I still feel like I need more lessons on it. But she has a whole nother game set that is for hand and foot, and so she said she didn't need all of the decks of cards. So we did go through and keep a couple out so she can play Go Fish with her grandkids and other little card games with them. And so she pared down those pretty well. And we do keep the smaller games and dominoes in a basket so that they are contained. Now, if you watch my channel and you saw me redo my shoes and my shoe organizers, you know that I let go of some risers that I had. Well, we're going to use 4 of those risers in her hall closet, and we are going to put the puzzles and the games on them. And it's just going to make them easier to get to and access, and I'm just so glad that I'm able to repurpose those for her. So it was a win-win situation. You know, these type of things can be tedious, but she was a trooper and she was making decisions left and right. And we ended up, I think, with 2 bags of trash on this day and a big box of donations and a basket that had some of the puzzles in it that was for donation, and another bag that had, I think, a coat in it for donation. And that's what you're looking at now. Now, we do make a bigger mess because we had to pull the filing cabinet out into the hall. There's the door that's off the hinges. And yeah, this is kind of our middle status. That's the trash. And this is where we are after day 1. And here is the next day. She was able to paint the closet. So for day 2, we are back in her guest bedroom with the same inventory from that closet, and we are going to start attacking all of the sewing items like material and thread and projects, either existing projects or planned projects. So the little basket that we have in the lower left-hand corner, that's what's going in there, are projects that either are planned or are on the to-do list. And you'll see her kind of ducking in and out. This little container that I have goes into her suitcase. Now, I will tell you, she is a very, I would say, accomplished seamstress, and she comes from a long line of talented women, including ancestors who were quilters, and her mother, her sister, and she all have been quilters. And you'll see that she has some beautiful quilts on the bed that end up going back into the closet. And she even finds a big basket that she has in her laundry room that she's able to roll up some of the quilts in to put into her guest bedroom as decor, that they're just a little more delicate and not going to be used for daily use because of that. But we're just going to sort through these pieces here. And she had a small shelving unit in the laundry room that we are pulling into the closet. It actually is an upper kitchen cabinet that was just being used elsewhere. And so It's where she's going to put a lot of her materials and sewing items. And so it's the only piece of furniture per se that we are bringing back into the closet. And it is just serving a better storage solution than what she had before. And I think y'all are going to like the way it looks. I love the way fabrics look all together and pretty and colorful. And so what I'm going through now is just a basket that had some bigger pieces and some smaller pieces. So I'm just kind of sorting them into whether they're going to go into a scrap bin or if they need to be folded to put onto a shelf. So if you were with me when I helped my friend in Abilene, we had a day of sewing as well. And that's not always the most exciting filming unless you're into that kind of thing. But there are some surprises like this here that I pull out. Now, she talked about hanging a quilt like in her bedroom on her wall, and this she believed was made by a family member, and it is a beautiful crocheted type of lace, not really a lace but crocheted trim that she was looking at maybe hanging with the quilt in her bedroom. And I think that's sweet because it will be out and she can appreciate that talent and the art or artistry that it is. Now, these bins came from my shoe makeover, and we are repurposing them here for thread. So we are going to put regular thread in one, and then she has some serger thread that will go into the other two. And yes, I am not OCD, but I do like to color coordinate, so that's how I separate them. Yeah. Am I the only one that does that? I think I put all the pinks and reds and purples together in one, and then the other one with the serger thread had all the other colors. And yes, I coordinated them within the box as best I could. It's just visually pleasing. I know they may not stay that way, but it was nice to look at. I surely cannot be the only one. Let me know in the comments if you do that too, whether it's your clothes or things that you sort, decorate with, put together. I would love to hear from you. This is our progress for day 2 for the hall closet. And we've got things grouped together and sorted and decluttered. And we just are not quite ready to load it back into the closet because I felt like things in the closet might mess up the paint and that the paint needed to cure a little bit longer. So we are going to leave things in this bedroom until day 3, which you'll see coming up, and then we will load it all in. But at least we have sorted through everything. Here's the pretty thread together and her sewing items. That tub, gray tub, is donations. And we're just going to wait for the paint to cure. But you can see the puzzles on those risers that were my shoe risers. But for day 2, we went ahead and shifted to the laundry room to start in there. Now, we don't finish on day 2. It will carry over into our day 3, but we at least went ahead and pulled the things down from above the washer and dryer and got some of those relocated to better homes. And then she's got next to her freezer in this corner another metal shelving unit, and she does some canning, and so it has a lot of canning supplies and a lot of miscellaneous. So this is day 2, and we started in the laundry room. We focused up here. We've cleared off a lot, added a couple of cute little containers. so it looks a little bit more appealing, and we have some ideas for that. But right now we are in the middle of it, and it's going to take a little bit of time. So we're going to focus on this tomorrow and loading the closet back up once the paint cures. So it always is messier before it gets better. I just wanted to share that today is part of the Helping Hands Alliance with a Guy in His Junk and Cammie from American Wife. Now, we offer our services to help people in our community when they need a little extra assistance, and we do this for free. So if you haven't subscribed to their channels, please go do that. Let's continue. Yay, day 3 and our final day. We started in the laundry room, and we are working on the items on the table that either came from the floor or came from above the washer and dryer shelf. And like I mentioned, she does canning. So what I'm doing is just sorting her canning lids. And I asked her if she had cute little containers. So we are using these galvanized containers for the 2 different sizes of lids. And that's going to go on that shelving unit. Now, this particular basket, I was able to bring her from my house that I had tucked away in the closet, and she's using that for dryer balls. And she went and got a cute little hanger, and it's going to hang on her wall, and it just looks perfect. I love it. And her goal, as I mentioned, was to make this laundry room look cute. So the basket that you see with that hat actually is a bike helmet. It is so cute. But that basket that's in the far back, we are looking at her hanging that on the wall. And again, that's something that she's going to have to do a few things after I'm gone, and that's one of them. But I think all of that kind of wicker and basket and kind of tan tones is going to just make it look very uniform. So here she has some lavender, and I'm just going to put it into one of the ball jars for storage. And then we ran across this container of bungee cords and tie down straps, and so we decided to put it in some canisters that are going to be repurposed and make them store just a little bit easier. Yeah, I love that she doesn't throw these canisters away, but that we're able to reuse them. And it's so much more organized now after we do that. Now what she's doing is just taking all these jars off the shelf. Now I saw that she had them stacked precariously, and I had some empty boxes. I didn't have a ton of them. I had, I think, 4 or 5. And then she had that white box and the white lid, and we're going to use them. And what they're going to afford us is the ability to fill them and stack them on top of each other. Now we move all the ball jars down from the very top shelf and put them on the second shelf, utilizing these cardboard boxes. And that shelf is taller, so it allowed us to get more on the shelf, where before her jars were spread over like 3 different shelves. So just that alone allows us to put like for like. And she did let go and donate some as well. And that's just going to make that shelf so much better to work with. And it was worth the time and effort to put in, and we spent 0 monies on doing it. It was safer for those jars too, really. Now, I did bring her from our sea container storage this 6-pack of half-gallon jars. And we're using this box, as I mentioned, But oh gosh, look at those galvanized things on top. I love it. And you can see how the jars are now on the second shelf, and it looks so good. She let go of stuff. We move things. It just is going to work better. Now you can see what we're going to use those half-gallon jars for. They're going to be for above her washing machine, and we are decanting all of her different washing products into those jars. And then I brought some of my labels that are using the chalk paint. They're black labels, and she's going to write on them and put those up, and they're going to look so cute, guys. So I will tell you that at one point she did say she was overwhelmed, and that can happen when you're dealing with small spaces and tight quarters, but she knew she had to push through, and look at this end result with that shelf and those products and those labels. She was so happy with them. Now she will do some thrifting to see if she can find some more wicker baskets that might replace some of those other baskets we have. And you can see the basket that we put the dryer balls in. But it is just looking so fantastic. I love it. It's a clean look. Now for that shelving unit, she may actually put curtains up. And if she does that, she was going to look at using some drop cloth fabric that she had, and then put 2 panels on where she could move them out of the way if she needed to and access them. And I think that's going to make it cleaner and feel better as well. Here is the finished hall closet. So the 4-drawer cabinet went back in, but you can see, look at those gorgeous quilts, the bedding, the camping equipment up there, the puzzles, the sewing, the games down below, more sewing, the suitcases, that shelving with the material on it. It came out so good because she let go of items, because we had some bags of trash, because she relocated the coats to the guest bedroom closet. We did add some labels for consistent looking containers, and I left it with her so she could add some more if she needed to. But I'm so pleased with the end results. Here's a reminder of the before. I hope you enjoyed this transformation in my friend's home. She is a precious soul who is such a wonderful caretaker to a family member as well as to her entire community, and she was so deserving of this. If you like this type of content, please subscribe, like, hype, and comment. It helps my channel grow and helps me to be able to continue to do things like this. I'm going to close like my dad always closed his voicemail messages. Bye for now.
Morning. I hope that you're having a good day.